Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 14 of Volcano Block. At the end of the last video, we set up this stone generator orchid thingy that was supposed to make iron ore for us, right? Hooked it up to our Botania mana, and it's been running for about half a day now. I basically just left my game running because I'm not on a server, and we can see every now and then it does work. It transforms a piece of stone into ore. I ended up actually adding 10 more endo flames, as well as upgrading our mana spreaders to support having 20 endo flames on one mana spreader. But even with 20 endo flames, I ended up calculating that it takes... No, that one is burning. Alright. It takes a hair under 30 seconds to produce enough mana to run an orchid for one piece of stone. So, given the amount of time it's been running, we have a little bit over 2 stacks of iron. For reference, the target number is 800 pieces of iron ore. So, yeah, it's gonna take like 4 days at this rate to make enough mana. And I could scale up our mana production. We could use, reasonably speaking, I think it's best to use a different mana source, probably something like TNT with a TNT duper. But even that is not quite going to cut it, in my opinion. So Botania is a mod that's really not about the numbers, but I'm going to break out some numbers here. At first, I thought that the orchid will be run in what's called Garden of Glass mode, which is Botania's Skyblock mode. In Garden of Glass mode, the orchid can cost 700 mana to make a piece of ore. For reference, each piece of fuel produces... For each tick of burn time on the fuel, it produces 3/4 of a mana. So 5,000 ticks of burn time produces 3,750 mana. So in that, if it were in Gardens of Glass mode, right, 700 mana per ore means that each piece of fuel produces something like 4 or 5-ish. I guess it's closer to 5, a bit over 5 pieces of ore. That's not a terribly bad deal. However, the orchid here is not running in Gardens of Glass mode. It's running in normal mode, which costs 17,500 mana per ore. So that means it takes like 4-ish, 5-ish pieces of fuel to make a single ore. And that's just not gonna cut it. That means for, how many stacks do I have in here? 9 by 2, so like just about 20 stacks. 20 stacks of ore will make like, or 20 stacks of fuel will make like 4 stacks of ore, of which only about 15% is iron. So based on that, we're gonna have to burn a literal boatload of fuel to make the 800 pieces of iron ore we need. At this point, I think I took the wrong approach to trying to make iron. So let's rewind and look at our other iron ore production system, and that is the atomic reshaper here. This consumes this primordium stuff to make iron, and I guess it's not running right now because I have the power turned off. But each piece of primordium makes 100 primordium units, and iron ore, when created this way, has a 40% chance to be made from stone. So that means that 40%, basically you take 10 divided by 0.4. So on average, it costs 25 primordium units per iron ore, and that's a much better deal. That means each piece of primordium, on average, produces 4 iron ore, so we need 200 primordium. That's much easier to do than what would inevitably be thousands of stacks of fuel. So let's build a system that will automatically produce the primordium and the whatever, basically run this entire stack automatically. Step 1 then is to farm the various seeds for the primordialist reactor. I think the easiest way to do that is just to use normie seeds. These produce like normie seeds, potatoes, wheat. Let's harvest a couple and we can see how many different item types we get from it. I think it's this 5. There might be a 6th one. Let's harvest a bit more. But the more... there's beetroot too. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 item types just from one type of seed. At maximum efficiency, the primordialist reactor does require 9 item types, but I think 6 is close enough. We can optionally take some of these seeds and craft them like this and get a 7th type, but that does require an auto crafting step. But anyways, my point is this is a reasonably good way to make a fair number of item types to feed into the Primordialist reactor. I'm going to turn it on briefly. So I want to set up a farm for normie seeds. For that, I think I'm going to go with the greenhouse from Calculator again, except this time, instead of using the, what type of greenhouse do I have here? The advanced greenhouse. I'm going to go all the way for the flawless greenhouse. Ooh, no flaws here. So I think the flawless greenhouse is just faster, but it's a bit more complicated to make. So let's start crafting. The flawless greenhouse is in function similar to the normal greenhouse. However, the big difference is it doesn't automatically build itself because it can be variable size. So there's like a 30,000 step process to actually build it. Thankfully, it is documented in the info calculator here, but we need the flawless greenhouse block itself. We need a generator, a carbon dioxide generator. So, oh boy. How do we get circuit 9? I guess we have to go through the processing system, huh? Alright. And for the processing chamber, first we need a extraction chamber. This can take dirt or similar, or cobblestone, dirt, or similar blocks. Let's put it over here. Give it some power and some... Let's start with cobblestone for now. And it will turn this cobblestone into random circuits. It is slow. Holy slowness. There's 12.5% chance to yield a circuit, and there's apparently 14 different circuits. So the chance of actually getting circuit 9 in particular is a 1% chance. Let's see about making the speed upgrades for this. What are they called? Let's see, speed upgrade. Alright, we can just craft these. Nice. I was about to say, the vanilla approach, the calculator approach requires getting a specific circuit, but this craft tweaker recipe is much easier. So let's make some of that. Let's start off with just the speed upgrades and see if how necessary the energy upgrades are. So without any speed upgrades, it takes 1,000 ticks per operation using 5 RF a tick. Where do I even put these? Do I just click them in? Yeah. Alright, if we put all the speed upgrades in, it takes a lot of power, but only takes 8 ticks to do work. Anyways, so it produces small stone and circuits, and I'm really only interested in these circuits. Let's, it actually uses enough energy that I probably should make the, what's happening here? Anyways, it uses enough energy that I probably should make the energy upgrades. Without energy upgrades, then it's 1250 RF a tick down to, oh man, don't take them out. 625. Alright, good enough for me. Now, I tried to set up a thing to extract items from it, but apparently items are not extractable yet. I presume that's because it doesn't have a transfer upgrade. So, may as well put the transfer upgrade in. Let's see if this does it. Yep, put it in. No. What does a transfer upgrade do? Alright, let's read the book. Allows the tab automatically export to output sides installed. By shift right click you can see what type, allows the installed machine to have automatically allows the installed machine to have, I'm not just like failing at English here, right? This is not a sentence. Allows the installed machine to automatically export to output sides it is installed with right click. I'm not the only one that doesn't understand what this sentence means, right? I see that calculator has a wrench, so yeah, okay. I guess if I wrench a side to, I presume red is output, it'll output to it. Yes. Alright, I guess that'll do. Don't need the hopper anymore. So I just need to keep it, well, I guess I still need the hopper to feed it input. So this machine generates these damage circuits. Then I need to process them in a, I guess either works. Is one preferable to another? 500 ticks, 1,000 ticks. I mean, I guess I use the one that takes half as long. But yeah, a processing or a reassembly chamber can take all these damage circuits and turn them into regular circuits. The processing chamber is just a reassembly and a restoration chamber glued together. So I think one of them, it's a process, the ones that come from, like, if you process cobblestone, you get damaged circuits. If you process dirt, I think it is, you get a slightly different circuit. And one of these chambers is for one is for the other. This machine likewise needs upgrades. And for now, I'm only going to put the speed in because I'm only processing the one circuit type that we need, which is, I think, 9. So go, process. All right. From here, if you want, you can, like, analyze them. I think when you analyze them, you get a random item out of it. That's what this, let's see, analysis chamber. Analyzing chamber. Yeah, when you analyze a circuit, you get a random item from this list out. And there's a few things in here that are actually valuable, but it's extremely rare. Like nether stars, 1 in 1,000. If you set up a fully automated system, you know, this can be some background production of 99% useless junk and 1% useful items. But I'm not going to bother. Anyways, I needed this for, I need 2 of them for a carbon dioxide generator. So, exactly 2. Another rare instance to use our flawless calculator. Add all that up for a carbon dioxide generator. Alright, but we're not done. Because this thing doesn't build itself, we have to actually, like, build the greenhouse around it. This is really a case where a picture in the documentation would have been worth 1,000 words. And in fact, given there's a splattering of grammatical errors throughout the documentation, so a picture would probably have been worth more than a couple thousand of these words. But anyways, I eventually just went online and Googled it, and turns out when you have a picture, it's much easier to understand what you're trying to build. So it ends up kind of being like the Greg Tech assembly line. It has fixed width but variable length. And then, you know, you just have a front slice, which contains your carbon dioxide generator, your greenhouse itself, and then any number of middle slices, I think up to like 40 something, and then a back slice, which is just like filler blocks, and you just cap it all off with some slabs. And if I'm reading this right, you don't need to put anything, like no doors or anything on the other end, so this ought to just be it. Whoopsies. Are you good? No. What's wrong? Hello? You need power first, maybe? Even when powered, it still says size 0. Let's try shift right clicking it. Ah, there we go. Coordinates should be stable stone. 1. Let's just set a waypoint there. And see. This block. Okay. If you insist, I guess. I assume it's also equally wrong. Oh wait, no, there we go. Size 18. So I think it's not counting this slice, so I'll replace these as well. Just so I know not to plant there. Hey, look at that. It even automatically tills it for you. And there's no water, so I don't know if that matters. Anyways, we can put controlled fuel into the... Whoopsies. I meant to get some fuel, not break that. But we can put some fuel into the carbon dioxide generator. Oops, wrong calculator. The wiki recommends using controlled fuel specifically because it only burns while the carbon dioxide generator is actually generating carbon dioxide, whereas other fuels are always burnt, at least according to the wiki. So let's try it. So anyways, this is working now. Oh, I guess the ones on the left side are close enough to the water sources in there to be watered. All right, whatever. Let's give it something to plant. So we will plant the normie seeds, of which I have a bunch. And the wiki estimates that it, or I should also get a chest, but it estimates that it produces 1 crop per second per slice. So I have 18 slices. That should mean then that we get on average 18 crops a second. Just get a double chest. So that, if that's actually true, that's very, very, very fast. That must mean that this thing gets a tremendous growth boost. So put that there, put seeds here, go. And it is fast. It is indeed very fast. Now why is it not pushing outputs to my chest? I guess it... Oh, it's not pushing some of these outputs because it's trying to replant them. I see. I think if I just like prime all these slots with normie seeds, yeah, all the outputs now get sent to our chest here, and yeah, it's about as fast as the wiki said it would be. 18 crops per second. I buy it. All right, so now by the way, this is way faster than I can possibly turn into Primordium, but let's move our Primordium machines over here. Or maybe I'll just make another set, because I need a arrow heater as well. Uh-oh. Turns out when it gets full, it just starts spewing items everywhere. So I should start moving items into voided crates, just so we don't end up lagging ourselves out with a slew of item entities. I want to try using the shipping container here. I assume it's like a drawer controller. No, can't be placed. Oh, I see. Do I put these? Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's kind of like a drawer controller, but it's big, very big. So then I guess I just have to set the filters on these by placing them. We'll put like seeds in here, lock it, and assign 1 drawer to each item. We also want to put a void upgrade in each of these, so that they just void when full. I honestly don't know how much full is, but I know it's more than like 30 stacks, and that's enough for me. Anyways, then I assume I just put these in here. 6, and then we can transfer items across this. So we'll, what do I have? Importer? So we'll import to here from here. Always. That working? Why is it saying 0? Do I have it backwards? Oh yeah, this should be an exporter. Whoopsies. Let's swap this around. Importer goes on that side. Interface goes on this side. Whoopsies. Good thing I locked the drawers. And then variable card. Yeah, and then items come into here. Cool. And because the interface is here, if I just get another one of those item terminals, I can view them if I put it like on this little subnet. Although for now, all I want to do is collect these items, which means we can turn this farm back on. Yippee! Going back to the Prodigy Tech stuff, before I can process all these items, I need to automate a way of generating energy and dust, because we need to burn that to make heat. So, a automatic crystal cutter requires 100 degrees. Unfortunately, that means that we cannot power it passively off of lava, because that maxes out at 80. We have to burn something, and if we're burning something, I think it's easiest just to burn the energy and dust that it's going to make. So I want to set up a system that will automatically harvest energy and dust. Where do I put that? Let's just, I don't know. We'll do it here. So a heater. This is what, how, well, let's move it back a block. Yeah, we'll put the heater here, and then above it we'll put a automatic crystal cutter. So I assume this just, if there's a energy crystal here and grown, it will harvest it, and every other block we can put another one. So my plan looks approximately like this. We'll put another block here and another crystal seed. Then we can use an air funnel to transfer heat up a block, and another crystal cutter. And this can be stacked vertically more or less indefinitely. But then all we have to do is stack it high enough that it produces energy and crystals, sufficient energy and crystals to power both itself and have enough leftovers to run the machines down the line. The primordium stuff. A couple minor issues I ran into. First of all, the cutter doesn't seem to actually cut the block until it's fully grown. That is consistent with what the documentation says, so I guess that's fine. I mean, in the end, that doesn't actually result in any change in growth rate. And the other thing is I need to actually store the final result somewhere. So I'm going to set up another crate that has these crystals in them. We'll lock that up and also store that in here. Voila. Next, we need to actually, we need to grind these crystals down. So energy and crystals seeds can be ground down in a heat grinder thingy, but that only requires 80-degree heat. So we can do that off a piece of lava and a, what is this heater called? Magmatic? Yeah, and a magmatic arrow heater. Our first crystal just grew to full, so I'm waiting for this thing to cut it. Come on, automatic crystal cutter. Cut the crystal, please. There's a chance that this actually isn't the slot it's looking at. Let me perhaps read this more closely. And plant a crystal in front of it. Does in front mean like literally this front? In that case, I might need to turn it around. Can I rotate these with any wrench? Or do I have to, I probably have to break it or replace it. Let's try turning the cutters around. I don't have any other wrenches on me. So if I place it facing this way, there we go, it starts cutting. And yeah, it brings it down a stage, down another stage, and it should stop at one more cut. It should stop here, right? Yeah. And it only consumes heat while it's actively cutting, so the heat can power the rest of the stack. But anyways, what happens is, right, it briefly, so I have this subnet here, which functions just like an item conduit subnet, connected to all the cutters. They store the energy and crystal seeds into the crate. Then from here, there's an interface here, an exporter here. So I have this specifically set to exporting energy and crystal seeds to the grinder. An interface here sees the output and sends it. There's an export here that's specifically exporting energy and dust to power the arrow heater. So now this is self-powered. All I have to do is turn all the cutters around 180 degrees. To efficiently run the Primordialist reactor now, I just need to ensure that 6 different stacks of items go in. So I have, these 6. I'm, for the time being, not going to bother crafting the normie seeds into whatever the other seed is. So, since I have 6 different types of items, I'm going to need a couple variable cards here. First of all, I'm going to take a card and set it to integer value 64. That is just the size of a stack. And then I want one item. Let's see. Item for each of these types. So let me grab one of each. In fact, how do I do that? Don't import for a second. Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, you can start importing again. And then I just have to set for each of these items I want a variable. So start from the left here. Melon variable. have 6 different variables now, one for each item. I could just turn them into a list of items and put them all in here and then have this thing export items, but that doesn't guarantee that I only get a stack of each, right? That it could end up filling the entire reactor with the first item. That's not what I want. I want 1 stack of each. So to get that behavior now, I want a item, not an item stack. An item stack is something different. That's the process of converting an item to a block, or maybe the other way around, a block to an item. What I want is one of these here. With size. Item with size. So, I'm going to need 6 more variables, one to represent each item, and I want them all with size 64. So this card is now this item, so wheat with size 64. Repeat with each of these. And then to clean up my inventory a little bit, I'm going to put down this variable store. We're going to need it anyways. Let's put it right here. And I can throw all these that I'm no longer going to reference anymore in. They're already referenced by these variable cards. Now I want to set a list of items. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 0 through 5. And it's put one of these in each slot. Again, this is basically programming, which is why I kind of hate integrated dynamics. If I wanted to program, I wouldn't be playing Minecraft right now. But whatever. Now we can save that list variable. We now have a list variable that has all these items in them. We can put these into our variable store as well. And now here, when we export items, is that red because something is wrong? It's a check mark. Hold on. It should put the items in here because it can see them here in the shopping container. So why are you not doing it? I know what's happening. I don't know how to fix it now. What's happening is this list is actually, instead of being a list of the items referenced by the variable card, it's a literal list of the variable cards. That is, it is, you know, these 6 items. I don't know how to get it to effectively recursively dereference the variable card until it reaches the actual item. So I'm just going to take a slightly different approach. Instead, we'll just make a list of items like before, except I'm just going to exclude the count. So potato, melon. Basically, I don't want to reference any variable cards because for some reason it's not dereferencing the built, you know, the nested variable. I'm sure that's this. I'm like 99% sure integrated dynamics can do it. I just don't know how. So this is my fault. But anyways, did I program the list and then not save it? Or, let's try that again. This time I'll actually save the values to the list, and you see now this list is potato, melon, yada yada yada. But if I just put this here, what'll probably happen is it fills up all with one item. And that's not very good because it's not very efficient when it's running like that. So what I want to do is I want to, I guess you could say like prime this system with some of each item type. That'll do. So the fact is we produce items way faster than this thing can dream of consuming them, right? So if I do this, what should happen is now it should start filling in everything. No, why is it not refilling the stacks? Come on. Let's see, if I set round robin to true, does that fix it? No. One sec, let me experiment a bit more. The issue was that I had previously incorrectly set exact amount to true. So it would only transfer the exact amount I told it to, which was transfer amount 64. So it'll only transfer 64 items at a time. But I switched that to full, so now it'll move, however many is available. So anyways, this produces Primordium. It's, again, not at 100% efficiency because it's only 6 slots, but it's close enough. Anyways, now that we have Primordium, now keep in mind, this brings the output air temperature down to 125 degrees, which means that it is too cool to be able to run the rock thingy, the thing that turns stone into ores. What's this block called? I'm just gonna steal this one even. The atomic reshaper, because this also requires a minimum of 200 degree input or something, 250 degree input. So we're gonna need another heater to keep things simple and to mostly avoid the need to put a stone generator here. I'm just supplying have a crate with 30 stacks of stone here being fed into the atomic reshaper. I guess the hopper's probably full, so 35 stacks. And the outputs are just being dumped into a chest. So 40% of inputs become iron ore, which means to get 800 pieces, let's estimate, call that what, like 14 stacks? 14 times 2.5, 28 plus 7, 35 stacks. So if I just add a little bit more stone, that should eventually produce enough iron ore to meet the demands I have, right? The 800 pieces, the 800 pieces of iron in order to lots of stone. 800 pieces of iron ore in order to make enough tungsten. If we assume that the atomic reshaper here takes 8 seconds per operation, which seems about right. It seems to be a little bit less than 8 seconds, but it's also not running at 100% uptime because it takes like a quarter second, maybe a bit less than that, for the item to be extracted. But whatever, for rounding purposes, let's call it 8. If it takes 8 seconds per operation, it'll be 5 hours for it to make enough ores. So why don't we wrap up today's video here? I might add I might have to make this crystal cutter column a little bit taller because I don't think we're producing enough energy and dust. I primed it with a significant amount, and I think we're just slowly consuming that. But anyways, I'll leave this running for a couple hours, 5, 10-ish, and by the time I get around to recording the next video, hopefully we'll have enough iron ore that we can start processing that and get into... Wow, I haven't done any quests today. Get into the fusion reactor. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's perhaps something I should have done a while ago. We had all the technology available to it, and if I started this system, 5 episodes ago, we wouldn't be waiting for it. But that's my fault, so whoops. But yeah, anyways, in any event, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.